Hey guys, Mustang Stampede. Haven't made any videos in a while. It's been very slow. The track hasn't had a track night for street cars in the entire month of August. So I haven't been to a track since July 21st. I was able to think I ran a 12.196 up at Dragway 42. I made that. I think I made that. I had that identical ET at least twice while I was up there. But I wanted to show you what I've been working on. I've been working on something for this car here, and from the front, unless you know exactly what you're looking for, you will not really be able to tell. I'm not real happy where I had to install the window switch, but as you can see, it sits right here. That is the Zex window switch, and I pretty much got most of the wires hidden down below it there. I need to clean it up a little bit still. That is used to set what gear I want the nitrous to engage, what RPM at wide open throttle, and also what RPM that I want it to deactivate at. So quick tip in for this install: when you are hooking up the white wire to your throttle blade, you actually have to remove your intake and move the throttle blade manually by hand. Check your voltages. My voltage max wide open throttle was 4.4 volts at the T-tap connector going into the green and violet striped wire coming off of your throttle body. Check that voltage. Max voltage on mine was 4.40 volts wide open throttle. When it was closed, I think it was 120. You also need to use the resistor that Zex sends you. After the resistor, my wide open throttle volts was 394, and closed was about 111, I think. Okay. Then once I programmed the Zex unit there, it's pretty simple to program it, but I did have some concerns, so I talked to a Brian and a Maxwell at Zex. They were helpful once I was able to get them on the phone and talk to them. And basically what's going on here is that my Zex unit will kick on at 3.70 volts. Max volts is 394, and that's greater than 75% of the operating range for the sweep of volts from 111 to 120, depending on which side of the resistor you're on, all the way up to the 394 after the resistor. So it will kick on slightly before wide open throttle, but since I'm using a window switch, it really doesn't matter. It knows which gear I'm in by selecting my deactivation point. If every time I pass the deactivation point, it knows that I've changed the gears. So basically, after that, you have the Zex nitrous management unit here. This is the purge kit. The purge kit Zex sends with the kit is only 2 foot long. It's pretty much a piece of junk. I had to order the 4-foot hose from Zex, and that way the purge is actually setting right down in there, and right here is where the purge is going to come out. I still need to trim these down. I did put some rubber, well, you know, little, like, they're actually vacuum leak. So you put these on like where you got a vacuum leak. So they're like vacuum condoms. We'll call them vacuum condoms. I don't care. I'm going to trim these down some and go ahead and leave those there. Again, I think I'm going to cut them down, but I'll probably switch to copper. That will be more flexible. And I've actually thought about putting it to where I can have it come out of the horse's mouth or out the horse's rear end like gas. So that's that. After that, I went ahead and used the cigarette lighter switch for activation. It's right there. I just flip on the nitrous, then the purge button is actually right here as well. So I don't plan on using this unless I'm at the track anyway, so there will be no real reason for that. all of you guys saw my MSD shift light install. It now serves two purposes. Not only is it my shift light, which I'll set to 6,900 RPMs, I've also tapped in to the signal and fed that back to the traction control window switch, which will be set at 6,500. As long as I go past 6,500 at my shift point, it knows that I've reached deactivation in first and second, and then will engage in third and fourth gear. Or I can just turn it off altogether and run it right off the line, but that's not really what I plan to do, because they'll require me to probably have a cage at that point. And there's the 10-pound blackout bottle. I also have the Zex gauge for pressure, and I also have a J-tube. I filled the bottle and wasn't really paying attention on how the J-tube connects. If you're going to use a J-tube, which most tracks require, you need to put the J-tube on before you have the bottle filled, because you're actually going to remove this. There's a cap in there. It's like blow off if you exceed too much PSI in your bottle by leaving it in sunlight or whatever. They're like burst disc. If you blow the burst disc, you need to replace it, and it leaks out all your nitrous, which around here costs $5 a pound. So what you do with your J-tube is actually you replace the burst discs and put the J-tube in place, and it actually pipes all the nitrous out of your car should the burst disc decide to go off. And I may actually get the maximizer kit through Zex themselves. It's another 10-pound bottle, and the connections to have two bottles, because I do have two J-tubes and two Zex pressure gauges, so I'll probably end up with a second bottle in here. And that's pretty much the Zex install kit. Any questions? Believe me, I freaking asked everyone that was running 100 shot of nitrous how to freaking program the NMU, because it was slightly confusing, because it doesn't, the voltages don't actually correspond 100% with the throttle blade or the pedal. But I think I got it pretty much figured out. Like I said, it's going to be well over 75%, and I'll be buried in the throttle at that point and headed down the track. So if you notice, you don't really see the wet kit nozzle tip. That's because it's actually setting right here, and I actually have some heat shield, like some heat shield around the hoses that run back to the NMU unit. I did that because, as you remember from my previous video on the MSD, it melted the actually melted the pickup line on the digital shift light underneath the intake cover. So since those lines will be setting right by the neck for the water pump, I went ahead and just added the heat sheathing around that area there. And so for pretty much, unless you know exactly what you're looking for from the front, you can't really tell that there's a nitrous kit, except for the fact that I mounted my window switch right there. I wanted to get it in the cabin, but I was running short on time, and that was going to allow me to tap into all the wires that I needed to very quickly and finish off the install. You want to go ahead and put the Mickey Thompsons on here, and the skinnies are setting around here somewhere, maybe over there, because it's NMRA weekend again. I'll be back up there trying to at least get pictured in the magazines again, and hopefully maybe pick up a second NMRA trophy for the True Street class. Hopefully I'll be running mid-11s, and then I'll just dial the last run back, maybe to try and secure the 12-second spot this year. Again, who knows, it's supposed to freaking rain all weekend, so tomorrow will be the first run at the track with a new kit, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. As always, thanks for watching the Mustang Stampede.